Good morning. Welcome to the Development Services Department hearing for November 5th, 2025. My name is Patricia Bautista, and I am the hearing officer for today's hearing. Joining me today is Deputy City Attorney Jean McKinnon and Francisco Mendoza, representing the Development Service Department's Project Management Division. Now, Mr. Mendoza with the procedural announcement.
Thank you. Good morning. Until further notice, hearing officer meetings will be conducted pursuant to the provisions of California Government Code Section 54953A, as amended by Assembly Bill 2249, which allows the public to participate in person as well as a hybrid format. The hearing officer meeting will be participating in person, and the meeting will be open for in-person testimony. If you are in person, please make sure you complete a speaker slip if you wish to speak. In-person testimony will be concluded before virtual testimony begins. In lieu of in-person attendance, members of the public may participate and provide comment via telephone, Zoom, using the hearing officer web form, or via U.S. mail of written materials to the hearing officer, as noted on the webpage. The public may view the hearing officer meeting at the scheduled date and time on the City of San Diego's YouTube website, City of San Diego Public Hearings. Members of the public can offer public comment on non-agenda or an agenda item by joining the webinar by using a desktop computer, laptop, tablet, or smartphone by accessing the link, which is listed online in the preamble language of the agenda on the hearing officer webpage, or by calling 1-669-254-5252 with webinar ID number 161-310-2034. This information is also on the agenda and will appear on the screen during the public comment period for each item. Please note that if you are watching online, there may be a 30-second delay. Please participate via audio on your phone and mute your TV or computer when it's your turn to speak. When the hearing officer introduces the item you would like to comment on, raise your hand by either tapping the raise your hand button on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, or by dialing *9 on your phone. You will be taken in the order in which you raise your hand. You may only speak once on a particular item. When the hearing officer indicates it is your turn to speak, click the unmute prompt that will appear on your computer, tablet, or smartphone, or dial *6 on your phone. Those participating virtually may not cede time to others participating in person or virtually. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mendoza. This morning, I'll be considering applications for development permits that the San Diego Municipal Code identifies for resolution by a hearing officer in accordance with Decision Process 3, as referenced in Section 112-0501 of the Land Development Code. The decisions made on projects today may be appealed to the Planning Commission. The appeals must be filed by close of business within 10 business days of today's date. This means that an appeal must be filed by close of business on Thursday, November 20th, 2025. Please take note that does take into account the Veterans Day holiday next Tuesday. The appeal must be filed on the proper forms located on the Development Services website. Additionally, the certification of the environmental documents may be appealed to the City Council. The appeal must also be filed within 10 business days of today's date. The appeal must be filed on the proper forms located on the City Clerk's website. All the approvals will become effective 10 business days from today's date, as long as no appeals are filed. However, no building permits may be obtained until the permits and resolutions are signed, notarized, and returned to the Development Services Department for recordation with the County Recorder. Prior to today's hearing, I've reviewed all staff reports, environmental documents, draft findings and conditions, and all written correspondence. I'm familiar with each of these project sites. So as a reminder, before we proceed, for those of you on the Zoom call, please mute all microphones until you are called upon to speak. And for those of you here in person, please ensure that your cell phones are muted as well. So at this time, I'd like to open up public comment. Is there anyone that would like to speak on an issue within the jurisdiction of the hearing officer that is not related to one of the items on today's agenda? Hearing none, seeing none, no hands are raised. And I did not receive correspondence of any kind. We'll move on to requests for continuances or withdrawals. Are there any requests for continuances or withdrawals? So none either. And I have not received any requests directly. Okay, so we'll proceed forward with a consent agenda. There will be a consent agenda for projects with no speakers in opposition and no questions from the hearing officer. We'll proceed forward with item number 2, This is PRJ 1122086, 1876 Elm Avenue, permit number, it's a map waiver number PMT 3312330. The city's project manager is Christian Hoppy. Mr. Hoppy, is there any reason that this item cannot be placed on the consent agenda?
Good morning, hearing officer Bautista. There is no reason that this cannot be placed on the consent agenda. However, I have two memorandums to read into the record.
Okay, thank you. I received those, so please proceed forward if you'd like to
Yes.
read them in the record. Thank you.
The following condition will be added to the map waiver conditions for the following project. The first condition reads as prior to the recordation of the certificate of compliance, the subdivider shall demonstrate compliance with section 1440507 of the San Diego Municipal Code. Any non-compliant items shall be corrected by obtaining the appropriate building construction permit to the satisfaction of the city engineer. The second condition will read as prior to the recordation of the certificate of compliance, the subdivider shall either obtain an encroachment maintenance removal agreement, commonly called an EMRA, for the existing wooden fence installed within Elm Ave right-of-way, or remove the fence from the right-of-way to the satisfaction of the city engineer. If the fence is proposed to remain, it may not exceed 3 feet in height.
Thank you. I may have missed it, but I don't know if I received a copy of that second memorandum.
The second memorandum was sent over on November 3rd.
Okay, on November 3rd. Give me a moment. I just want to verify
Yes.
that I have received that as well. Okay, I see it here. It was included with the PowerPoints for the presentation.
That is correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And then is there anyone who would like to speak in favor or in opposition of this project? I understand the applicant is here, Robert Bateman. Okay, okay, I have no questions at this point. And there's no speakers on. Okay. So since with no other questions, I will proceed forward with staff's recommendation to approve the project. Pursuant to sections 15301, 15303, and 15332 of the California Environmental Quality Act, the project is categorically exempt from the environmental review, and I recognize those exemptions. The project is not pending an appeal of the environmental determination. The environmental determination was made on June 6, 2025, and the opportunity to appeal the determination ended June 20th, 2025. I can make all the findings necessary to approve project number 1108766, map waiver number PMT 3312330, subject to the conditions that were read into the record today and conditions contained in the staff report. This decision is final unless appealed to the Planning Commission. Thank you. Okay, now I'll proceed forward with the discussion item. So this is item number 1, project number PRJ 1108766. Project name is 4572 to 4576 Niagara Avenue. Coastal Development Permit number PMT 3270794 and tentative map waiver number PMT 3270795. The city's project manager is Ollie Shepard. Ms. Shepard, please proceed forward with the staff report when you're ready.
Thank you, hearing officer. Before I do proceed with the staff report, I do have a memorandum that I would like to read into the record. The subject is the additional map waiver resolution condition for agenda item number 1, PRJ 1108766. The following condition will be added to the map waiver condition for the above listed project for attachment number 6 to the staff report. Prior to the recordation of the certificate of compliance, the subdivider shall demonstrate compliance with section number 1440507 of the San Diego Municipal Code. Any non-compliant items shall be corrected by obtaining the appropriate building construction permit to the satisfaction of the city engineer. Thank you. Now, one moment while I share my screen. The phone in testimony is now open. Please review the instructions provided on the screen. Good morning, hearing officer. My name is Ollie Shepard, Development Project Manager for item number 1, Project PRJ 1108766. The project site is located at 4576 through 4572 through 4576 Niagara Avenue. The 0.179 acre lot is in the RM11 base zone and coastal non-appealable overlay within the Peninsula Community Plan area. A Process 3 decision is required to grant a coastal development permit for a condominium conversion project creating 4 or fewer condominium units. Staff determined that the project was categorically exempt. The project proposes converting 2 existing residential units into individually recognized residential condominium units, requesting a waiver of the requirement to underground overhead utilities, as well as associated on-site and right-of-way improvements. The property is located within the Peninsula Plan area. Before you is an aerial view of the existing site. The overall surrounding area is comprised of 1- and 2-story single-family homes featuring a variety of architectural styles. The property is currently developed with 2 existing dwelling units. Unit A is 3,583 square feet and is a 5-bedroom unit with an attached 2-car garage. And Unit B is 2,151 square feet total and is a 3-bedroom unit with an attached 2-car garage and a detached 1-car garage. The property fronts both Niagara Avenue and there is access off of the alley. The project proposes converting 2 existing dwelling units into residential condominiums through the process of a tentative map waiver. No physical development is proposed on the project site other than the public improvements within the established right-of-way as required by the permit and the map waiver conditions. On March 21st, 2024, the Peninsula Community Planning Board voted 9-0-0 to approve the permit, recommending approval of the project without any conditions. The project was analyzed and found no significant impacts related to the traffic, parking, noise, or other environmental issues. The proposed subdivision was reviewed and determined to be in conformance with the regulations of the San Diego Municipal Code and the Subdivision Map Act. Therefore, staff hereby recommends the hearing officer approve the requested actions. This concludes my presentation. City staff and the applicants are available to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shepherd. So I'll start off with public comment. Is there anyone here to speak in favor or in opposition of this item? Seeing none. Okay, perfect. So I just had a couple questions for yourself and potentially staff for clarification on a couple things. So the first question I have is regarding the utilization date. I noticed that within the CDP and the map waiver, two different dates are noted. The CDP quotes that utilization is needed by November 19th, 2028, and the map waiver expiration is November 5th, 2028. I believe those should both be 3 years after the appeal period has ended for this. So that should be November 20th, 2028. Is that correct?
That is correct, and I will get that corrected on both reports.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, and then the second item I have is regarding any public improvements on site. When I was reading the staff report as well as the findings, it does quote that there are some public improvements that were proposed, but can either yourself or staff clarify if there are any public improvements that are required as part of this map waiver, or is the only improvement required for the EMRA for the existing private structures in the public right of way?
Thank you, hearing officer. The current improvements that are actually there, that is the only public improvements that are required right now or is being proposed, and the applicant would have to maintain the existing improvements that are there.
Okay,
But I do have the applicant online to clarify even further, and I do have staff here available as well.
okay. I think just for confirmation that there are no additional physical improvements within the public right of way, I'd appreciate that.
Yes. Anthony, if you're available, Anthony is the applicant.
This is Tony Christensen, the civil engineer and land surveyor for the project. And I confirm that there are no proposed public improvements, but there is the requirement for the encroachment maintenance removal agreement for private improvements that currently exist within the right of way.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Welcome.
So I think with that, if we can just have clarification made within the findings that states that there are no proposed, improvements as part of this permit, and that it's just the EMRA that's required for those existing private improvements. That's all I would look for.
Perfect. I will get that corrected. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, with that said, I will proceed forward with staff's recommendation to approve this project. So pursuant to section 15061B3, the project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, and pursuant to sections 15301, 15303, and 15332 of the California Environmental Quality Act, the project is categorically exempt from environmental review, and I do recognize these exemptions. The project is not pending an appeal of the environmental determination. The environmental determination was made on July 7th, 2025, and the opportunity to appeal that determination ended July 21st, 2025. I can make all the findings necessary to approve project number 1108766, coastal development permit number PMT 3270794, and tentative map waiver number PMT 3270795, subject to the modifications discussed today to the findings and staff report, and then as well as the condition that was read into the record. This decision is final unless appealed to the Planning Commission. Thank you, and that concludes today's hearing.